Hello and welcome back to our lessons. In this video, we are going to learn more how to use the Omnichannel Flow Builder. So let's go to Omnichannel link and then go to Flows. And then let's create an Omnichannel Flow. Let's name this flow as Omnichannel Flow Builder Tutorial. So let's click OK. Great, we are now on the Omnichannel Editor dashboard. Before we start, we are going to discuss the three types of message threads that we are going to encounter when using the Omnichannel Flow Builder. So the Omnichannel have three types. First is the common messages thread. The next is the channel specific messages. And lastly, the Omnichannel utility blocks. So how this works is the common messages can be connected to all types of blocks, while the channel-specific messages can only be connected to the specific channel where it was defined. And lastly, for the omnichannel utility blocks, it can only be connected to the common messages and also to the other omnichannel utility blocks. We're going to show you how this works in actual. So example, this is your chatbot flow. Let's start by opening the menu. To open the menu, right-click anywhere on the editor screen, and then you would find the menu here. In the menu, you would find different types of messages. The first message type that you would see here is what we call the common messages. The common messages can be connected to any other type of message blocks. Next, the second type of message that you're going to see on the menu is what we call the omnichannel utility blocks. So we only have two types of blocks for the omnichannel utility. The omnichannel utility blocks can be connected to common message blocks and to the channel specific blocks only when it is defined on the connection. And lastly, you would find the channel-specific messages here. The channel-specific messages can only be connected to its own channel type. For example, the messenger-specific messages here can only be connected to messenger connections. The same is true for Instagram, WhatsApp, and Google My Business. They can only be connected to their own channels. So this can only be connected to Messenger. This can only be connected to Instagram, and this can only be connected to WhatsApp, and this can only be connected to Google My Business messages. Now the question is, how do we interconnect the messages so that it would work smoothly across different channels? Well, the key is by using the correct message thread connector. Now let's see how that works. To demonstrate that, we are going to build our chatbot flow. When you first create your omnichannel chatbot flow, the only message that you can use here are the omnichannel utility blocks and the common messages, because the reference is an omnichannel utility block type of message. So if you go here and drop the connection in the screen, these are the messages that you can create. As you can see, all of these are common messages, and this is what we call the omnichannel specific. So let's start by creating a text element. And now let's configure our text element. Hello, first name. This is a message from my omnichannel flow. Great, let's confirm the changes. We now have our first message. And since this is a common type of message, this will work across all channels. We are going to test this by adding a trigger. So let's add a trigger element here. And triggers are also common types of blocks. For our trigger keyword, let's use trigger. And then let's hit save. And we are going to test if this is running correctly across all channels. We are first going to test this on Google My Business messages. So let's hit trigger. It should send us the message. Great, we finally received the message. So let's trigger this as well. Great, so it triggered correctly. Now let's try it out on Instagram. Let's use the trigger keyword and send our message. It's also working. Now, lastly, let's try this on Messenger and send our message. Great, it is working across all channels because this is a common type of message. Now, what if I want to create a button or a quick reply? You may notice on our message here that we have no option here to create a quick reply or a button because quick replies and buttons are what we call channel-specific type of messages. Now let's try to create a channel-specific type message here. We are going to create a messenger text. On the messenger text, we can create a button and we can create a quick reply. So let's configure the messenger text here. Okay, so this is our configuration. I am from Messenger, and let's add a button, continue to next, and then the button type will be next step. And now we are going to try to connect the common type of message thread to Messenger. Let's see what would happen. Boom, we get an error. This is because we cannot connect cross-channel connection without using what we call a transformer or a converter. So you might be wondering, why can't I connect a common message to a messenger when I explained earlier that common messages can be connected to any type of message blocks? Well, the reason is the common type of messages adopts the channel of its parent. So for example, the reference message is an omni-channel utility. So once we connect the omni-channel utility to a common, this message becomes omni-channel utility as well. So if you try to connect this with Messenger, it is now not a common type of message because it adopted the message type thread of its parent. And if you connect this, the error that you would see here is invalid cross-channel connection. You're trying to connect omni-channel utility thread with Messenger. So since this common message type is connected to the omni-channel utility thread, the type of message thread that is adopted by this common message is an omni-channel utility. So how do we connect this to Messenger? Well, we need what we call the channel splitter. So to add a channel splitter, we can open it on the dock menu and search for splitter here. Okay, this is the channel splitter. You can also use the context menu by right-clicking anywhere on the editor screen and then searching for channel splitter, or by clicking it on the options. So you would find the channel splitter on the option here. So click on that and you would find that the channel splitter is created. So what is the purpose of the channel splitter? Well, the channel splitter would help you connect different type of messages across different type of channel. So the channel splitter is an omni-channel utility type of message. So since this is an omni-channel utility and this is also an omni-channel utility, we can connect this without a problem. Okay, great. Now, how do we connect Messenger here? There is a Messenger connection here, which you can connect to channel-specific messages. In this case, we are connecting to Messenger. And as you can see, it connected without a problem. Now, that's how you connect cross-channel message threads. Okay, great. So we have configured all of the messages here. We are then going to converge all of the messages here to the common thread. So to do that, we are going to create a channel converger. So the channel converger can be created here by clicking the channel converger options on the menu, and then we are going to converge all of the channel specific messages here. So the Messenger will be connected here, and Instagram will be connected to the Instagram connection socket here. And for the WhatsApp, let's connect it to WhatsApp source. And for the Google My Business messages, we're going to connect it on the GMB connection. Now that we have converged the messages, we are now back to the common thread. We can now continue with our flow. Let's create a router here. And then for the router, we're going to create a message here. On this message, let us say Yahoo, cross-channel connection success. And then we are going to add another route here. And this is another variation of the message. Cross-channel connection is working. So the way router works is it will send any of the two messages here, either this message or this message at random. Okay, so we are going to test how this works. Let's first save our flow. To test this, we are going to start with Messenger channel. So let's trigger this by sending a trigger keyword. Okay, great. This is from my omni-channel flow. And then if I click continue to next, all right, it sent us the correct message. Great. Cross-channel connection is working. So if we click this button again, let's see if the message would change. And as you can see, the message changed because we are using router here. Now, let's try to test it on another channel. Okay, so trigger the keyword by sending the trigger. All right, so we are going to test the button, continue to next. Let's see if it will give us the correct message. Great, cross-channel connection is working. And if we trigger this again, and we are going to test if the router will give us another message or another variation of the message. Well, it is at random, so there's a chance that it will send the same message. In this case, it sent us another message, Yahoo, cross-connection success. Now let's try to test the WhatsApp channel. So let's trigger this. Okay, we received the message, and if we click the continue to next button, let's see what it would send us. Okay, great. Cross-channel connection is working. Now let's trigger it again on WhatsApp, and let's see if it would send us the routed message or another variation of the message. So it sent us, okay, it is a different message because previously it sent us great, cross-channel connection is working, and now it is sending us Yahoo, cross-channel connection success. And lastly, we are going to try it on GMB or Google My Business Messages. Let's send the word trigger. All right, it sent us the message, and if we click the continue to next button here, let us see what it would send us. And it sent us the correct message. Trigger this again to test if the router is working correctly. Okay, great. And then send continue to next step message. All right, so this is a different variation because previously it sent us Yahoo, cross-channel connection success, and now it is sending us great, cross-channel connection is working. Awesome, so all of this is working. With just a single flow, it is working across different channels. So what is going on under the hood here? So what is the role of the channel splitter together with the channel converger, and why are those blocks very important? So this is what's happening under the hood. So let's say that the user came from Messenger. Okay, this is Messenger. And the user triggered your flow. So what would happen is the message would go here and it would trigger your omni-channel chatbot. And the thread will go from here and then it will go to the channel splitter. And since this is from Messenger, it will send the message that is connected here. And now if you click the button, it will go back to the channel converger. And now we are back to the common flow thread and it would send the message as usual. So since we are using a router, it will either send this message or it will either send this message. And since this is evenly divided, or the weight of the router is evenly divided between two routes, then we have 50% chance here. So either 50% of the messages will be coming from this message or other 50% will be coming from this message. Now, what if the user is coming from Google My Business or GMB? So our flow would be triggered from GMB and it would flow from the same path or from the same common path here. But on the channel splitter, it would instead go to this message. It would send the GMB or Google My Business message. And once the user clicks this button, it would go back to our channel converger, where it will converge back to the common flow, and it would either send this or this one. Same is true if the user would be coming from WhatsApp. So if it's coming from WhatsApp, the message will be triggered here. It will flow from the same or from the common path or from the common connection here. But when it comes to the channel splitter, it would instead go to the path where you defined for the WhatsApp message, and it would instead send this channel specific message. And once the user clicks this button, it would flow to the channel converger, and it would go back to the common path or the common flow, which is defined here. Okay? And same is true if it's coming from IG or Instagram. It would go from here and then proceed with the common path, but it would split on Instagram. And once the user clicks this quick reply, it would go back to Instagram and then back to the common flow. So that's what's happening under the hood. If you are planning to send a channel specific message, like sending a carousel, sending message with buttons, sending a recurring notification for Messenger, or sending a button message for WhatsApp, then you are going to need to use the channel splitter and the channel converger so that your flow would converge back to the common path. Now we have a better understanding how the flow works for the omni-channel chatbot messages. We have understood the importance of the channel splitter and the channel converger. So you can use both the channel splitter and the channel converger anywhere on the flow when it is applicable. So example, this one. So if you connect this to the channel splitter, you can split the messages here. You can either send another text message here. So this is a common message. But since this message is connected to the messenger connection, this common message will now adopt the property of its parent connector, which is from the messenger source. So it now becomes a messenger type thread. So you can either do that. You can also use another Instagram text here or another message like Instagram carousel. You can do that. So you can also connect WhatsApp messages here or a WhatsApp template or a GMB generic message. And then you can converge it back by using the channel converger. So just connect the channel converger to its proper channel thread connection like messenger to messenger, Instagram to Instagram, and then WhatsApp to WhatsApp, and finally GMB to GMB. And after that, you can connect your channel converger to your common flow thread, like going back to this one. So you can do that. And you can even split furthermore, or you can also create common type messages here like images and video. And then whenever you want to use channel specific messages, you need to create a channel splitter first, and then create your channel specific message here like recurring notification for Messenger. Also note that it is not required that the messages here have connection. So what would happen if other channels here don't have a connection? Well, what would happen is there would be no message for that specific channel. It would just stop sending for the channels where no specific message is connected. But for those channels where a specific message is connected like this, then the message would continue. So that's it for this video. And on the next video, we are going to discuss the rules to follow when we are building our omni-channel chatbot flow. And we are going to get more familiar with building an omni-channel flow. So see you on the next video.